Hello! So, over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking a lot about how focusing expertise enables a business to stand out, find more opportunities, be seen as an expert, be more easily referable and actually less replaceable and probably able to charge more. I've been working with a couple of businesses over the last week that have been very successful, starting from nothing over the last 5 to 10 years, but have reached a point where they want to scale a bit more. And so we need to think a little bit about brand and where business comes from and the role of brand in unblocking as many of those leads that come through the referral ex-client process, 84% of leads if you remember, and also using that brand to build a wider tribe of people so the cold prospects move from being somewhat cold to somewhat better. It's just worth just quickly looking at where business actually comes from. When you look at it, quickest, definitely clients, slowest, cold prospects, highest close rate, 70% clients and referrals. Lowest close rate, cold prospects, you guessed it. Highest year one value, lowest year one value. So the focus, obviously, even for brand, has to be on these left of the pitch pieces. We need to use brand to unblock those referrals as much as possible, make it as easy as possible for people to give you that work. Now, it's tempting to think brand is a logo and a load of brand guidelines, and you'd be amazed at how many people think that's it. Well, they're right in a way, aren't they? Because yes, you do need to be have a consistent look and feel across your website, your social media, your printing materials, your presentation materials, but to unblock this side of it, brand has to do so much more. So how are we going to make your business explode? Well, we've got to grow your tribe of people who are right for the expertise that you've actually got. So that tribe of buyers, we've got to do that over time. This is the true role of brand, because remember, only 5% of B2B buyers are in market at any moment in time. So the role of brand is to make sure that they remember you and they trust you at the moment they need you. The more you're in mind, the better your luck gets. One of the questions I regularly get asked is, well, this is fine, Alan, recall and trust. Yeah, I get that. But how do you actually do it? Because there's an absolute flood of content out there. How do you cut through? Well, the starting place is always to think about society and the times that we're living through. This is from Idleman Trust again this year, and it shows that actually government, we're not so sure about right now, and we expect CEOs to not just promote the wares of their companies, but actually to create brands that think about societal issues as well. SageFrog produce a survey each year of the most trusted B2B brands. In 2021, they highlighted all sorts of different brands. Majority of tech brands, interestingly enough, that have become more trusted because, crucially, they've understood the world that you and I are operating in and responded to that. And there's some top things that they listed out here. Number one, relate to audience, show how you fit in. Well, there's nothing new there, is there? I mean, it is all about understanding your buyers' KPIs and helping them to achieve them. But the world in which those buyers are operating has changed substantially, isn't it? There's no longer just popping over talking to Sarah at the next desk. It's become a bit more complicated than that. So thinking about how your brand responds to that world, great. Focusing on critical needs, they mentioned AWS, Amazon here, but of course critical needs relates to all sorts of businesses. It might be something that needs done the next 24 hours. It might be an accessibility, any place, anywhere. There's a shift, isn't there? Full fuel, collaboration, creativity and working from home. They mentioned Adobe here. Again, very similar theme, isn't it? Make sure that your brand responds to the constraints that your buyers are working within, not just the KPIs they want to achieve. And finally, engage with resources that help. LinkedIn, they mentioned here. Well, of course, we're all learning lots of new things, aren't we? Because this sort of world of everything everywhere doesn't look like it's going anywhere. I was as I say, when I went up to London a couple of times last week, I could have sat anywhere on the train. So a couple of things to think about there in terms of drawing up what your brand actually does in terms of its behaviour. So building that tribe over time. A lot of people say, well, okay, my material's not cutting through. What are we going to do about that? And of course, a lot of it comes down to tone of voice and the way that we consume media now. I heard a great story about Spotify actually, where the long song introductions have disappeared because basically if we don't get something out of something quickly, we're flipping over to the next song. What a great shame, Madonna's Vogue, great introduction. Well, that's my opinion anyway. And you can see this in politics as well. You've got Boris who tends to lead with a bit of entertainment. My policy on cake is both have it and eat it. And Keir, who actually leads with some very sensible things, well, in my opinion, I mean, you can differ, and is probably the more trustworthy of two, but he's lost because he's boring. So actually getting the messaging right that's right for your buyers, reflecting greater societal needs and reflecting the way that we expect to be communicated with all form part of brand and go far beyond design and logos and all that sort of thing. So look, that's a very, very superficial covering of brand. There's so much more to it, of course, but getting that right is key over the long term to exploding the growth of a business and being remembered in the minds of those buyers. I put a couple of little videos at the end of this. One is a short 2-minute excerpt from Simon Sinek's Start With the Why, well worth a little watch. And the second is from an excellent sales trainer who I really like called Andy Bounds. And he's really strong on focusing on the outcomes and not getting lost. The outcomes that matter, by the way, to your particular buyers, not getting lost in anything else. So look, hey, sorry I didn't bring you that expert this week. He's really busy because he's really focused his expertise well. So that might be a little while, but we will do that. Thanks for watching. Do sign up. Do get in touch if you'd like to explore how you want to grow the number of leads, qualified leads that you want for your marketing, consultancy or data business. I'll see you next week.
Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do, 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You ready to buy a computer from me? All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
I don't like the word features and benefits. I find people get confused. I just think of the word afters. So why is the customer better off after buying from you? They don't want what you sell. They want why they're better off afterwards. It sounds so obvious, and of course we're all above average for knowing this, but do we do it? The other day I saw a lawyer. If I'd said, why should I buy from you, lawyer, she probably would have talked about how good she was at law. But do you know why I saw her? Because after seeing her, I didn't want to go to jail. I don't want the lawyer, it's just I don't want jail time. And then I saw an accountant. Have you ever talked to one of them? I didn't want to. I don't even like him. But after seeing him, I'm not paying as much tax. This morning, some of you bought a newspaper, desperate to buy a newspaper. You didn't want a newspaper, but after buying it, you've got something to do on the train. Some of you maybe went out last weekend and bought some fancy dancing pants. And when you bought your fancy dancing pants, you thought, I am looking at these fancy dancing pants. I love fancy dancing pants. You didn't want those. What you were looking for was love on a Friday night. And the weird thing is, as the customer, you begrudge paying money for the pants. But if you know you're guaranteed love on a Friday night, you'll find the money for that. That doesn't sound right, actually, as I give that as an example. An American business school professor, Theodore Levitt, said people never want a quarter-inch drill, they want a quarter-inch hole. So this is quite devastating, this, what I'm going to say to you, but it's very, very true. Nobody wants a lawyer, they don't want to go to jail. Nobody wants an accountant, they don't want to pay tax. Nobody wants a newspaper, they want something to do. Nobody wants me, they just want to sell more stuff. Nobody wants dancing pants, they want love on a Friday night. Nobody wants a drill, they want a hole. Here's the devastating bit, folks. Nobody wants you either. They don't want you, your company, your products, your anything. They want why they're better off afterwards. So customers' number one focus is on the desired future. Now, I know we know this, but I want you to think back to your most recent proposal and think about the title of the most recent proposal and ask yourself, did it talk about their main after in there? So I remember winning a piece of work with a pharmaceutical company once. We always have debriefs when we win. We don't tend to have debriefs when we lose. It's too upsetting. So when we have debriefs when we win, we said, like, great, you chose us. Like, what did you like best about the proposal? And he said, to be honest, it was yours to lose based on the proposal title. And I said, oh, really? Tell me more about that. He said, well, we saw you and two other companies. One of them was called Our Proposal. One of them was called Our Proposal to X Pharmaceutical. And yours was called How You'll Generate £50 million revenue in 3 months. And then he said, you would have had to mess that up. And then my favorite thing he said was, and as I turned the page, did you think I was thinking, I wonder which year he was founded?